Good morning. Having said that, I was not going to be live today. I am, after all, as it's obvious. I had a bit of an emergency with our puppy, but got back from the vets in time. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about 7 steps to debt free. Now, this is huge. This is quite often a reason that people won't start Profit First. And they won't start concentrating on how to make their business better and things like that. It's because they have debt. There is a way to deal with debt. Sounds a little bit random at times, but there's a book written by a guy called Dave Ramsey called Total Money. And he suggests that you do something called a Debt Snowball, which we'll go into in a minute. So there are 7 steps to being debt-free. And if you can start to put any of these into place now, then you're going to see an enormous difference. So step 1, save 1 month's expenses as a starter fund, an emergency fund, a rainy day fund, call it whatever you like. This is taken from Dave's book as well. So why 1 month's expenses? Why not £1,000? Because it isn't specific to your expenses, your circumstances, whereas your expenses are. So 1 month's salary as a rainy day fund is sufficient as financial cushion when you're paying off your debt. But it also isn't so large that you're tempted to dip into it. Step 2, pay off all your debt, excluding your home, i.e. your mortgage and things like that. Use either the Debt Snowball or work from the highest APR to lowest. So usually when people are talking about paying off debts, they suggest that you use the highest rate of interest first, pay that one off and get it done. Psychologically, as Dave says in his book, using something called the Debt Snowball is a very clever way of doing it, actually. So say you have, say you've got 2 lots of debts, okay? For instance, you've got a large car loan, which is at 10% APR, and you've got a small finance deal on a sofa at 0%. You'll save a ton of money in interest by tackling your debts from the highest interest to lowest. But using the Debt Snowball means that you'll be throwing a lot of money at 0% interest, while the 10% interest debt racks up more interest. So the Debt Snowball is that you start off with the smallest debt first. Not necessarily the smallest APR, but the smallest debt first. And it's a psychological thing, because you pay off the smallest debt first, you get it over and done with, you can rip it up. That's it. It's gone. So if you have all of your debts written out on a piece of paper or on a spreadsheet, whatever it happens to be, whatever you want to do. So you've got debt 1, debt 2, debt 3. The smallest one you start off with first. Psychologically, you have 3 debts written out on your board or in front of you in your office or whatever it happens to be. When the smallest one is paid off, huge, great big red mark through it. Fabulous. The psychological feeling of the emotional feeling of having paid that off, the motivation that it gives you to start working towards your other debts is enormous. And I've heard this from so many people that actually it's a really clever way of doing it. And you wouldn't automatically think of it, because you'd think, right, let's get rid of the most expensive one first. But no, because the motivation that it gives you. Can you imagine if you've got a really big debt really high interest rate on a debt, and it's taking you forever? How much motivation is that going to give you? It's not. So if you start off with the smallest one, motivate yourself to move on to the next one, and then the next one. You get paid off before you know it. So you need to consider both methods, but I personally would always go for the Debt Snowball. So how much should you put into an emergency fund? When I say 1 month's expenses, I personally don't think that that's enough. As I said, comes from Dave's book. I think it should be in between 3 and 6 months. If we go into another lockdown, and everybody's on furlough, and we can't go into restaurants, we can't go to shops or anything like that, and people's businesses are really suffering yet again, then if you've only got 1 month's money, then is that going to stave off anything that's happening? Probably not. If you've got in between 3 and 6 months money, it gives you that cushion. It gives you that feeling of that sense of relief that actually, okay, fine, it's okay, it's all right. So if you can save up in between 3 and 6 months money now, start doing it now, and start just doing it with small percentages. Literally, this is what Profit First is you start off with your small predetermined percentages. So start putting over 1 or 2% of your income into a rainy day fund. It will build up so quickly, you won't believe how quickly it'll build up. But also work out what 3 months expenses is. Work out what 1 month's expenses is and multiply it by 3 or 6, whichever it is you're having to do. But make sure that you have worked out what your expenses are. So if you know that your expenses are £500 a month to run your business, for everything, that's all your subscriptions, the whole lot, your salary, everything, say it's £500 a month, it probably won't be, but have a look at your bank statements, then you work out what you're going to need. So you're going to need £1,500. So if you can start to put in 1% of every piece of bit of your income that's coming in into a rainy day fund, that will be an enormous start. So number 4 is maxing out your pension contributions. So once you've got no debt and a decent savings fund in place, you should take advantage of your employer's pension if you get one. Many employers in the UK offer to match your pension contributions. So this is a really good time to maximise your money on the condition that you get a pension through your employer. If you don't, then it's not going to be much use, that one. Step 5 is, again, from Dave Ramsey, create a sinking fund. Dave Ramsey's, he's called it his baby step 5, focuses on saving for your sinking fund. Your sinking fund is a savings pot for your expenses, but you've probably already got a sinking fund for holidays and one-off expenses and your 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So when you are debt-free and then you are you've got your savings pot, your expenses pot, your rainy day pot, call it whatever the heck you like, then you start setting up lots of sinking funds. So that means whether you have a sinking fund to pay for all of your insurances, a sinking fund for Christmas, a sinking fund for holidays, a sinking fund for your child to be going to university, or well, it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter what it is. And step 6 is paying off your mortgage early. If you can pay off your mortgage early, or even start to pay off your mortgage early, start to overpay on your mortgage, then you're going to be able to start paying it off early, and it'll make a big difference. And step 7, and this is I think personally really, really important: build wealth and give. So once you've got no debt, you've got no savings, you're overpaying on your mortgage, etc., you've set yourself up to build wealth and give. How you do that is completely up to you. It's really rewarding knowing that your hard-earned financial work enables you to help others. I use something called B1G1, and everything that I give, they match, basically. So when anybody has an interaction on my website, I give a day's training to a young girl in a third world country for business training, to hopefully help them in the future. So that's where I am at the moment. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and sorry this hasn't been very long, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.